It's just another year. You knew to disrespect my elected puppeteers, but let me show you how to persevere.
Turn that up a little bit. I'm listening to Thundercat. The song is Funny Thing off his It Is What It Is album. The junk is pretty funky too. Like Thundercat a beast, y'all. Cold bass player. Y'all gotta check him out. Yeah. Yeah. If you're wondering who I'm listening to, once again, it's Thundercat off his It Is What It Is album. The song is Funny Thing. This is something you can skate to.
I was thinking the same thing.
You can skate to it. He does boogie. This is the kind of stuff I want to play at the wedding. You know what I'm saying?
Skating is open.
I don't think skating is open yet.
That's social distancing. You ain't gotta be next to each other.
I mean, kind of, but you're in like a close vicinity. Yo, what's up, Christopher McKinney? We got Kansas City in the building. Hey man, this is a groove right here. It's about. Man, it's about for real. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Jay Costa.
It is your girl, Kat.
And together we are the Nitty Gritty. Yo, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Nitty Gritty
I'm
Show.
looking at myself. I am really good in tans. I mean, I'm real cold on chocolate.
Kissed by the sun, boo. You
I'm looking at myself like, wow.
Love it.
I'm real chocolate.
Mahogany.
I'm in deep chocolate.
Pecan.
I was in Mexico.
Walnut. All of that.
I was in Mexico.
Yes, looking good. Looking like a whole snack. Let's go. So yeah, we got a couple of things to cover today on the Nitty Gritty Show. We'll talk about just some of the things going on in the world today, and then we're going to get into a conversation about just, I guess, the thing that's flooded social media the most. The incident in Norfolk, Virginia, where the young lady, I think her name is like something Tripp, 34 years old, ran over her boyfriend. That was hard to watch. That was horrific. And then another video, which is, I guess, not hard to watch for most guys, but I guess some saying it was hard for them to watch as well. That's hard to believe. Two half-naked women, that's not hard for any man to watch. I don't care how Christian you are. But anyways, there's the WAP video. We'll be talking about that and some of the implications around that from society and how they're weighing in. I think this will be a good conversation. So let's start with some current news. Actually, before we get some current news, Kat got something she wanted to get off her chest. We were just talking about this before the show got started. Hey, what's going on, Manny? Clarksville in the building. If you are viewing in,
let us know in the comment section. Shout out where you're from, your city. What I want to get off my chest is I cannot stand, I shouldn't say I couldn't stand, when certain accents in the country are heavy and they use certain words.
This could be a soapbox.
As an example, Juan for some reason can't say careful.
I can say careful.
He likes to say Moreland and Corful because of the area. And I love y'all. I love my DMV folks. I can. But for some reason that Corful or encourage you really just, it really works.
I don't really do the encourage. I say encourage.
I'm like, what
but you say Corful, like you say Karen.
And right. Just like Karen, yes, Karen is her name.
I've been calling her Aunt Karen for my whole life.
Karen is her name.
And no, Karen are the people that call the manager for no reason.
It's just as bad.
Karen is my aunt and my cousin.
From Alabama, when they say you can't be honest. What are you saying? Honest. Honest really just, I can't do Karen, I can't do Moreland, I can't do encourage, and I can't do just be honest. Say it, because you can say it better than me. Just be honest with yourself.
Honest.
Just be honest with yourself.
I've heard that one a lot living in the South. Mainly people from Carolina.
I'm like, what
Carolina,
are you saying?
Alabama.
Honest?
Carolina, Alabama, for some reason. The Carolinas and Alabama, they do that honest. Herman, what's good? And we're going to shout you out again later on today. But happy anniversary!
Oh, what's the anniversary song?
It's your
anniversary.
It's for you and
I don't know the word of that. Do you know what today is? Isn't that that? Yeah, it's your anniversary.
I think the twins dropped that on they did a like a slideshow for them today. And I think that's the song playing in the background. That's pretty dope.
All right.
Yeah, so
shout out your city in the comments.
Yeah, if you're watching, shout out your city, rep your city, okay? So we can shout you out. In the meantime, let's talk current news.
COVID-19.
So we're at 5 million people so far
that have contracted COVID-19.
And those are the folks that have actually gone out and been tested. So that's not including those that's running around, right? And we're up to 160,000 deaths, correct?
That's pretty scary. But you know what's crazy? Can I just say this one thing? I see people all the time making comments like, oh, but that's still 1% of the population, so it's not a big deal. That to me is just such an insensitive comment.
Yeah.
Because like, what if that 1% is somebody you love? It's so insensitive.
And I'm seeing more and more posts where I guess now with more and more people becoming infected, right? People are seeing it hit closer to home, so now they have higher sensitivity. One of the people close to the Nitty Gritty show, they contracted COVID-19, and actually that person has actually been very conscious, but was just, you know, spending time with close family. They still got COVID. It can happen to anybody. It can really happen to anybody. Even the most. This individual has been so cautious with the way they move, and just one time at a family member's house, they contract COVID-19. So you guys have to really be careful. Wear your mask. Right? Use all the PPE, practice all the proper safety precautions so that you don't get yourself sick and other people sick, all right? I mean, because it's only serious until you get it.
Or until somebody you know dies.
Yeah, because you have a pre-existing condition. So even something simple like diabetes. Yeah, that's a pre-existing condition that your body can just break down. And it can
just stop saying silly stuff like, oh, it's only 1%. It just, I can't. Because that 1% could be you. And what if you find out you had COVID tomorrow and then you only have a week left to live? It's just not. It's just insensitive.
Yeah, it really is. Also in current news, there's been information floating around from the left and the right. Who knows if it's true? But they're saying that Biden may have dementia. I mean, he is what, 72 years old, 71 years old.
Okay, how old is Trump? And he
they're like the same age. Can we go back to getting younger presidents again?
Hello.
Like i.e. Clinton, Bush, Obama. When they all came into office, they were between the ages of 40 and 50. You know, ish. Those are good, healthy ages.
Wasn't Kennedy the youngest to be elected?
And I think he still is. I think Clinton was close to breaking that record. Wait, he was like 42 or something like
Kennedy was 40 or 38?
No. He's like 42.
He was 42 when he got elected?
I think he was like 42 when he got elected.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Herman said there's still no mask mandate in Tennessee, which is crazy, right? Well, and that's been one of the hotbed states. Correct me if I'm wrong.
My question about Tennessee is, can you tell me, so if there's no mandate on masks, are people gathering? And if so, are you participating in gatherings? And when I say gatherings, meaning are you going to certain restaurants gathering without masks? Are you going to church gathering without masks? I'm just curious.
Yep. Yo, Brent, what's good, bro? Good to see you on IG. IG's in the building. Herman said no more Clintons. I can feel you on that. Elisa said, can't believe those parents sending their kids to school. And you know what, Elisa, I agree with you, but I almost see that both ways, right? Like in one place it's like you gotta put a roof over your head, and for some parents it's kind of like that's your only option to kind of watch your kids, but then it's kind of like you're sending them to, you know, like in a healthy environment. And I think that's a hard place to be in, you know? It's just kind of, it's a really hard place to be in. So I'm a little sympathetic just because it's like, well, what do you do if you can't work from home? I think in DC we live in a little bit of a bubble where, you know, most folks are educated, most people make decent money or can make decent money or work for places where they're probably enjoying the pleasures of working from home, right? Although people are working more since that. Rashawn Ray put an article about that, which is really dope. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting. I think people need to stay safe, though. And more current news, Versus 2 Chainz versus Rick Ross. It was a little dry, I'll be honest, but it was dope. I mean, they both had bangers out there. It was interesting. It was like watching a concert. I mean, they had, you know, all kind of people there and, you know, little acts, you know, stuff for their little thing that they had going on. It was interesting, nothing to say the less.
It was interesting.
It's interesting, yeah. So, Versus, but I'll keep on watching those. Looks like Raw Kim and, what is it, Big Daddy Kane might be next, and that's going to be awesome for all the old school hip-hop folks. I'm with it. Oh, okay, Brent, you moved over here to Facebook. That's what's up. I'm good with it. Thank you, brother. And then also, definitely prayers for those involved in the explosion in Beirut, Lebanon. I forgot what they said the death toll was, but I mean, that thing, like I seen a video where someone was driving, it looks like across a bridge, and they're filming it, and then the impact from the blast literally flipped the vehicle over.
I saw a video image of a bride was posing, and like literally just debris started just flying behind her, and they did like a slow panoramic view of it. Like, can you imagine posing for your wedding and all of a sudden things just blow up behind you? And then there was a woman who was giving birth in a hospital that had been blown up, and they didn't have anything to do.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, definitely. I mean, and I was looking into it, but I don't know exactly. Did they ever decide? Did they ever say? And for those that know, because I didn't really research as much as I probably should have, did they ever decide what was the cause of the explosion? Was it like a gas leak? Was it something? You know what happened? Because I have no idea. I mean, I've heard, you know, I heard a thought process as to, but nothing confirmed. So I'll be curious if anybody knows for sure. Elisa makes a good comment going back to the COVID. Saying community homeschool something, but sending my child to a possible death chamber. I get it. And you know, a community homeschool would be interesting because, especially if you live in a city that has maybe historical sites, maybe if parents work together, you know, I mean, these days it's kind of like, can you trust just any parent, right? But, you know.
She said, I saw the bride video as well. It was pretty, like wow. Like, I can't imagine just posing all of a sudden. It's just like, boom, behind me. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, it was very reminiscent of 9/11 to me, some of the videos.
It was.
Yeah.
In regards to the homeschool, I just want to say, I find it interesting that there are parents who are literally protesting, saying that states need to mandate that they open schools back. And I think the reason being is that what I'm learning about parents and their kids is that these folks have had kids and haven't had to deal with them because they've been taking them to school and child care.
That's a good point.
And now that they have to deal with their own kids, they literally can't handle them. I hate to say it, but their kids are like, require discipline, and they are like, who did I raise? It's like now becoming exposed.
Yeah.
Now, little Timmy, you know, the teacher has been telling you little Timmy has been a disruption, and you're like, he just gets excited. And now you're seeing firsthand.
Now you're seeing firsthand, no, little Timmy
is a hellion.
He need his butt beat. Yeah, I still believe in corporal punishment. I know that's like something we don't do anymore, but yeah, I believe in popping my kids. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. So, yeah, they be needing to get popped. So I'm all with it.
Is it time to get
so let's get down to the nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty. Clap your hands. Give me some clappy emojis in the comment section when you're ready for the nitty gritty. Because here it is.
So let's get down to it, right? So I don't know if you guys have seen the video. There's a video that's been going around. I think this happened about what? I think this all went down late Friday night or Thursday night. Young lady was upset with her boyfriend, and I mean, if you're watching the video, it looks like it was a boyfriend of maybe 18 years. But her name is Bashira Tripp. She lives in Norfolk, Virginia. This was Thursday night. And she ran her boyfriend over. Okay? Just so you guys know what happened. So she ran the boyfriend over. And then afterwards, she gets out the car, and people are video recording this. She's cussing at him. She even takes the bumper that fell off the car while hitting him, grabs it, and slams it on top of him. Spits on him, kicks him, repeatedly yells at him, and you can see blood coming out of the side of his head, right? And this, like, just mortified me. Because I can't say this enough. When we saw the young lady vandalize the car, this goes for any man that goes off and kills a whole family or beats up a woman because she cheats. Look, folks, at the end of the day, I get it. Cheating sucks, but it's not illegal. But you know what it is? Stealing from someone because they cheated on you, vandalizing their possessions because they cheated on you, and murdering them. Yes, those are all illegal. So it's like, yeah, cheating sucks, but folks, we can't commit murder. And real quick before we go further with the conversations, I want to get you guys' thoughts. If you've seen the video, let me know your thoughts. Let me read some thoughts.
Or you can Google it real quick. Her name is, what is it again?
Brianna Tripp. I mean, if you look up woman runs over a boyfriend, it's going to come up.
Yeah.
So let me read some comments as we start this conversation. Lisa Seth, referring back to the explosion of Beirut, she said the fertilizer thing, it was confiscated from a Russian cargo ship years ago. The Royal House had been asking the government to get rid of it. And they ignored it. Oh, wow. Herman said, agreed, Katrina, parents don't really know their children and don't know how to discipline their children effectively. Facts. I agree with all of that. But I'm curious to know you guys' thoughts on the situation with this Brianna Tripp. If you saw the video, like I said, it mortified me. And honestly, and people may think this is a bit extreme, but I equate it to George Floyd's deaths, right? Now, I know the big difference is...
Sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
I know the big difference is Breonna Tripp is not a sworn to protect and serve. So there is a hierarchy in the sense that what the cops did is more so deplorable because they're in a position to actually service our community, and they still killed somebody, and they've been properly trained to supposedly deal with their emotions and how to detain someone without killing them in the process. So I understand there's a hierarchy to it, so trust me, I'm aware. But as far as what we viewed, right, this idea in society that we just record while somebody's being murdered and killed, I get you can't stop a moving car, but the fact that you will allow someone to continue to berate someone who they look like, most of the people from the video assume the young man is already dead. And they watch her throw stuff on top of him. It's like, at that point, like, first of all, she shouldn't have done it in the first place, but to laugh, like, I've seen people, comments. So Chris, I don't know if he's dead or not. Last time I heard, he was in critical condition. I don't know if he's dead. But when you watch the video, the assumption is that he's dead. And even if you don't think he's dead, to continue to kick this man, to spit on this man, that's crazy. And for so many people to be watching and not to try to, like, okay, that's the time you would do a citizen's arrest. Like, this woman obviously just tried to murder this man. She's still going off. Maybe y'all hold her down till the cops come. You're on your phones recording. How about you use your phone to dial 911 and get the cops there? You know, like, it frustrates me so much when people watch and view violence as a form of entertainment, especially when you're in a place when you're watching it and you can affect the outcome by continuing to let it happen. You know, I mean, this, and then there's like a friend walking around with her just walking around the body. I mean, this was like so callous and so, I mean, it was deplorable to me to watch. I'll be curious to know your thoughts on the situation as a whole, but I was truly disturbed. I was really disturbed. I don't think I can sit there and watch that. And I think we need to love ourselves more when it comes as a people. And to see this kind of black on black hate and crime is a trip to me. So we got some comments. So Chris said they might have been frightened by this woman. Well, you know what? That's a good point. I mean, that's, if you're just one individual by yourself, you may, and she doesn't look like she was a small girl. So yeah, you might have been afraid to approach.
I think when people heard her say that he cheated, it was like people were laughing like, yeah, that dude probably deserved it. And I don't think that anybody deserves, like, I think that when people take the, in the Bible they say vengeance is mine or vengeance is the Lord. Yeah. I think that you should not take vengeance in your own hands. When people say, I'm going to let karma handle that person, you need to really exercise that. I just think that in a relationship, you're emotionally attached to an individual. I get it. But I always say, and Juan knows this to be true, you have got to be able to control your temperament when you are upset. If you have the inability to control your temperament when you're upset, that's kind of a scary thing, because you don't want a moment of weakness or a moment of uncontrolled behavior to dictate your life journey. This woman has basically not only ruined her life but his life, and heaven forbid they have kids. The kids they may have together may not have any parents because she was so upset by this man's cheating. And I don't agree with cheating, but I do believe that people who cheat, there is some kind of cause to why they're cheating.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, let me read some comments. I still got thoughts. But Beverly Morrison said, off the deep end. Yeah. Maybe said, if you're frightened by that woman, call the police. Exactly. I mean, and I think there were people calling, but it's like,
well, initially I would have been calling to see because he looked like he was dead in the video. That man looked pretty dead.
He looked dead to me. Like, you see blood coming out the head.
I would have been called like, hey, we need an ambulance here.
Chris said, yeah, that's not a result of one incident. It's deeper than just him. I agree. And then Mamie said, that's right. Vengeance is not ours. It belongs to the Lord. And you know what? Chris makes a good point, right? And don't get me wrong. She needs to go to jail, right? No ifs, buts about it. But there's definitely some kind of therapy that needs to happen. And not just for her, for flipping out like that. Anybody who watched that and felt like, yeah, girl, that's justice, you need help too. And you need to go seek counsel to deal with that hurt. You get what I'm saying? Like, Charlamagne has said this. I've heard a lot of people say this recently, and I agree with the sentiment. We need more counsel culture instead of cancel culture.
I love that.
Because the thing is, people are really suffering from various anxieties, PTSD, mental disorders. We live in a very wild, crazy world, right? And structure is lacking. So people are literally going off the deep end, as Beverly said. And people really need help. And if you saw that video, or if you hear about a Lorena Bobbitt situation, or if you hear about a man beating the crap out of a girl, and if you defend that violence, there is something wrong with you. Period. Brent says amen to the counseling. And so she needs counseling. She needs to go to jail. But while she's there, she needs to deal with that hurt. One of the comments she makes when she's beating this guy, after she'd already hit him with a car, is, I gave you 18 years of my life. How could you? She's ticked off. Now, mind you, this young lady is 34 years old. 18 years, that means she met him at 16. So she's been with him from 16 to 34. He cheated on you. That means, boo-boo, he don't even appreciate you. I'm not excusing the cheating behavior. He don't appreciate you. But at 34 years, oh my God, that is still so young. And to think, she's going to get convicted because you got all the evidence you need on paper.
Let me tell you the best
20 years of her life gone, at least.
When you have an issue with somebody, the best response is always silence.
Oh yeah, and move on. Oh, trust me. Even if you're not trying to frustrate the person, but for some reason that does frustrate them beyond no end. But more importantly is secure your own peace. You know, let me read some comments. Elisa said, society has become so removed from empathy, they wouldn't want their loved ones' last moments to be recorded versus help.
That's so...
Man.
Woo!
Let me read that one more time. Yeah. Society has become so removed from empathy, they wouldn't want their loved ones' last moments being recorded versus helped. Elisa, thank you for that.
It's true, because I think, let's just say hypothetically, my brother cheated on somebody and his last moments on earth is some girl he was dating running over him. I mean, I wouldn't even feel remorseful for her. I would be enraged at her for killing my brother and not allowing him to see another day because she had a moment of basically insanity. Yeah.
I mean, we got to have a little bit more sympathy for the life. Or let's say if he does survive. He's an amputee possibly for the rest of his life.
I mean,
a paraplegic for the rest of his life. That means, you know, and when you don't have all your faculties, right, and it's taken away from you because someone is upset, how do you provide for your family? How do you take care of your loved ones? I mean, you affect, if they have kids, as you stated earlier, you destroy a whole family because you mad because he decided to sleep with some girl down the street. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. I know in the moment, you could be so upset that you're like, you know what? I'm taking everybody out. But you got to get beyond that point before you ruin your whole life. You got to. It's just upset. Now, I'll be curious to know your thoughts, Katrina, because I've seen a lot of women celebrating this. What do the more sane women, what do you guys say to these other women? Because I've seen a lot of debates online, and it seemed like the girls that were saying, like, it's not right. I've heard some of them get called pick-me's. And I just don't get it. The pick-me comment again, yes.
Oh, Lord, not the pick-me. I just don't think it's worth it because I am of the mindset that we all have choices, and the moment that person violated commitment, they made a choice, and now that they have violated, I am allowed to make a choice. So I don't know. I don't agree with her running him over with a car. I agree with talking to him. I agree with counseling. I agree with maybe leaving a couple of days. I agree with maybe telling him to get out or making him sleep on the couch. But I don't know. I feel like this. I don't want to come from a place of. I just feel like I'm surprised that if you've been with somebody for 18 years, there isn't more maturity in how you respond.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a little surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy, and that's sad. So she needs love, and then, this kind of ties in. I'm moving to the second part of the conversation, dealing with WAP, but I think sometimes people have so much visceral when they've been done wrong. It's like you can't see past your own hurt, disappointment, and your pain. So then you become the very thing that did you wrong in the first place, right? So for like with all the women or even some men who seen that it was like, yo, I would do the same thing. It's like, you know, come on. Like, what are you? Don't become the thing that did you so wrong, that left you so pain. It's like women and men that pass down their hurt and pain to their children, right? It's like, oh, some man did you wrong, so now you teach your daughters. Or some woman did you wrong, so now you teach your sons. Oh, yeah, they ain't this and they ain't that. and you're recycling hurt and pain. I think we need to get beyond that. Before I go to the next thing, Chris says she probably put up with a lot over the years. First thing, anybody that stays through that kind of mistreatment for 18 years, she probably needed therapy a long time ago. And that's a good point. And I think, you know, if you get early into a relationship and you're not getting what you need out of it, it's best, like I think what Katrina said earlier, to separate, put them on the couch, get help early. And if the relationship is toxic, this man is cheating on you, maybe got another woman pregnant, maybe gave you a venereal disease, whatever the situation is. No, because that happens.
All right.
Then, you know, go get help, but take care of you up here before you make a choice, as now she's probably not going to get the proper help she needs because they're going to see a black woman and they'll send her to jail. And she's going to get 20 plus years. And also,
he said Chris had to correct that she was a girlfriend for 18 years, not married, but a girlfriend. That's telling.
Yeah.
Yikes.
A girlfriend from 18 years. Just like the post you showed me earlier. A guy posted he's been engaged for 8 years.
Yeah.
Don't rush.
And I was like don't rush. You've been engaged for 8 years. At that point, you should have you should have a stack ready to go for the wedding. You've been saving for 18 years, so what's the point at this point?
Yeah, I
for
think
8 years.
When you do something like that, I mean, obviously, just looking at the root issue, there's an issue with her loving herself, right? One, she put up with probably trash, like Chris said, for 18 years. She never got the title. She never got a ring. You're 34 years old. I mean, at this point, why aren't y'all married? But then it's like, if the relationship is toxic, well, okay, good, you're not married, but why haven't you moved on? I know so many young ladies that continue to deal with these guys, whether it's a baby daddy or just a long-term boyfriend, and they can't move on. Meanwhile, I've seen with some of these situations, good guys try to talk to these women, but they're so caught up in whatever toxic magnetism that comes from these relationships, they can't move on. And I just think people love yourself enough to keep it moving. Why are you looking at me crazy?
Was I looking at you crazy?
Yeah, you like staring at me, you know what I'm saying?
I was looking at how handsome you were.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. I feel you. Christopher McKinney said low self-esteem. Mamie Altar said she snapped because she wasn't the one. Yeah, I get it. She wasn't the one.
Y'all see how my fiance get uncomfortable if I look at him? That must be something. That must be some serious glare that I was giving him.
I mean, I was like, we good.
I can't even. He was getting uncomfortable. I was just like, what's going on over here? Why are you uncomfortable? You ignoring me? I can't check you out.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Goofy.
But no,
just goofy.
So we're at the halfway point. So let's move on to the next part of the conversation.
The next part.
WAP, right? So WAP is a video or a song with Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B, right? Mm-hmm. And there's been a lot of debate around this one. So to give you guys some backstory, you'll see how the two events kind of correlate. Very salacious video. It's like, I guess WAP is supposed to mean wet and gushy, but it's a P. So why isn't the song WAG? I don't understand it. Anybody knows the song WAP, and you understand? I know what I know what the P should mean, but that's not what they're saying in the song. And I listened to the illicit version, so I'm clear on the words, and that's not what they say. They say wet and gushy. And you probably know what I'm talking about, the fact that I said it, okay? But anyways, so they put out a very salacious video. There's a lot of people applauding the cinematography, but let's be honest, people were applauding it because you had two physical women.
You said physical?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're shapely. I mean, one of them is natural. One, I mean, they kind of bought a lot of that body. Cardi B is pretty honest about that.
Meg's body's natural. She's always been pretty tall, and she's always been tall and skinny, but she's actually gained weight over the years, so we kind of filled out.
So, but they're both, you know, they stack. They brick houses, as they would say back in the day, right? But she just, you know, they put out a video, and they're basically talking about sex and how they want to own a man in the bedroom.
And they're both very young.
Yeah, they're both pretty young. I mean, I think they're both in their 20s, right?
Yeah, I think Meg Thee Stallion is about 26, and I want that Cardi B at this age maybe like 27, 28. So
there's a couple of things I want to talk about.
Sorry, flipped it out. Meg Thee Stallion is about 26, and Cardi B is about, is that what I said?
Something like that. Yeah. But anyways, moving on to the point though. They put out this video, and now everybody's upraised. They're like, oh my God.
Women need to do better.
Women need to do better. Cardi B's a mom. Why is she dressed that way? And I get it. There's a certain standard within your household you should have for your family. I agree with that. But the people who are putting pressure on them as celebrities to be role models, you look foolish. right? How about you as a parent be the role model for your children? Elect the uncles and the cousins and people at your church, folks close to the family, people that you understand their story and you know their background. Elect those people to be the influences in your child's life, right? Don't let a celebrity be the influence for your child's life, because guess what? Cardi B got to where she was stripping, right? Meg Thee Stallion's a rapper. Wow. She's young. She wants a little bit of fame. She's having a good time. She's a smart young lady. She's in school at Texas Southern. But at the same time, I mean, she got to where she was by writing songs like Savage. Well, so why are we surprised when they make a sexual song?
Sex sells.
It does. And there's this conversation, much like the situation with the young lady, where you have the battle of the sexes again, right? You have so many women saying, well, I don't see what the issue is because so many rappers have made such depraved music about women. And I'm like...
Look at the word you use and look at the word she just typed.
That's how I feel.
I'm saying you guys were literally saying the same thing at the same time.
What?
Oh, God, forgive
me. I don't get it.
You just said... There's such depraved women, and then the comment is, WAP makes us look depraved.
Oh, well, you threw me off when you...
Y'all are in sync, literally.
Oh, yeah. WAP does make, and I get it. It does. And then Chris makes a good point. He said it's for adults, and you have to be okay with sexuality. And that's the other thing. It is adult entertainment. Like, when you think about a lot of the rappers out there, the subject of their music, it isn't for kids, right? I agree with that. But it's definitely something for adults to view and enjoy if that's what they want to do. And unfortunately, kids do know that.
They be up there home, I'm a savage, classy, bougie, ratchet. They know that more than they know their ABCs.
I do know that, like, my parents, at least they did, I can honestly say, Herman and Denise did the best they can to try to protect us from that kind of stuff. Like, we weren't allowed to listen to any kind of rap or whatever around the house. And then, and if my mom heard it or my dad heard it, and it was cussing, and they was talking, and they were celebrating something that we didn't tolerate in our home, we couldn't listen to it, right? Now, when I got older, yeah, I still listen to Jay-Z, I still listen to NWA and all those things, but I had to sneak around my parents to do it. I think the difference is that in some cases now, the parents are watching WAP and dancing to it with the daughters right next to them, right? But then that's an issue with the parenting. I mean, it's not on Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. It's kind of like...
I do think the music industry owes us balance, though, right? And what I mean by balance is that back in the 90s, there was some semblance of balance. You had Lil' Kim, but you also had Lauryn Hill. So it was like, okay, we got Lil' Kim, who's sexy, but we also have a very conscious Lauryn Hill, and they both were getting, in my opinion, equal publicity, equal support. I think nowadays there is an overwhelming amount of support to those who are sexy, whereas the one girl you always talk about, I think she gets zero play. What's her name? The real conscious one.
Oh, No Name?
Yeah, she gets zero play. Then there's the other girl, Rhapsody, zero play.
Dope.
They're not really
spitting
on
real
mainstream, and they're not really being backed by the industry. So I think my issue is not with WAP, it's not with Cardi B and with Meg. My issue is that kids and parents and people in general deserve to have a balance. I feel like with everything, whether it's a movie, there's always a protagonist and an antagonist. There's always light, there's always dark. There's demons, there's angels. I know I'm getting a lot deep in here, but the point I'm trying to make is there needs to be a balance. And right now, clearly there's no balance in the music industry.
Oh yeah, definitely. Beverly said young girls will think that it is cool, and it's not at all true. Herman said that yes, Juan, we need to have standards to what we want our children to adhere to. Beverly chimed in again. She said, but children will watch it and think that they are impressive. That's true. I'm going to come back to that comment. Chris said, Scarface is a movie that did more than Scarface the rapper to me. Still, that ain't the blame for all that's happened to me. Let's stop it with the till we all without sin. Let's quit the pulpit. Jay-Z. Oh yeah, that's a nice little bar. I like that one. That's a good bar from Jay-Z, actually. But yeah, that's true, right? I think sometimes it's so easy for us to target like music. And I think it's easiest for us to sometimes target maybe women of the moment. But I think we pick and choose when it's a problem. And I want to say something that's going to tick a lot of people off. And I want to purposely clip just this part of the video and repost it just to tick these people off. But let's go there. When Beyonce did Partition, and when Beyonce does songs like Kitty and all of that, they're just as sexual and derogatory as the song WAP. And Beyonce can't do a single cut of anything without having her butt and her titties out. Let's just keep it 100, all right? But society eats that up, and she's Queen Beyonce for being just as half-naked as Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. If we're keeping it 100, you look at all the outfits she didn't wore during any Super Bowl performance, Grammy nomination. Shoot, she could be at the Stellar Awards with Destiny's Child, and she was still half-naked with splits all the way up her leg, okay? But we celebrate Beyonce. And what we need to come down and realize is, as society, we are over-sexualized, and we're a capitalist society. So if it's selling, others are going to do it. Nobody is not... Everybody went to Disney Plus, or maybe you got Disney Plus for the first time to watch Black is King. Yeah. Just to see Beyonce half-naked and still sexually expressed on Disney Plus. A platform still designed with children in mind. No one criticized Beyonce. Only thing they said about her is like she had demonic things in her video. And technically they weren't demonic. They're just a different faith or religion that maybe you don't practice. But technically you can't necessarily call it demonic. Okay?
Well, see, for me, it's not about Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B. It's just about the fact that I feel like we get, I don't know, we just get very talentless people. I know that sounds mean, but it's the truth. I feel like I prefer you to be sexy but have talent. As an example, in our parents' generation, Tina Turner was considered sexy. Mm-hmm. But she was talent. Like, she can sing, she was able to dance, she was going to give you a full show. And I just wanted to be more talent focused. If you're going to be sexy, then I want to see you do a backflip, pop a split. I want to see a craft, something that's just so unique. It's like, wow, like, woo, I really feel like you are something different. I feel like it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, because when you think about it, I love Cardi B, but how is Cardi B different from Lil' Kim?
No, or better yet, how are they any different from Madonna?
It's the same thing over and over again.
And the difference is how society responds to it, to me, right? I remember when Madonna came out and she had the little cone breast. I remember my mom be like, oh boy, close your eyes, you can't be looking at that, right? Because there was a different standard from our parents' generation, if we could be honest, and the generation before that. And I remember, like, I was listening to some old school music one time. I think I'm like 12 or 13, and I'm listening to Juicy Fruit. I'm like, Juicy Fruit. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that's the original music used for the Biggie song.
That's the parents' song, right?
Yeah, and I remember my mom saying, oh boy, you can't be listening to that, because Juicy Fruit is talking about the same subject matter as WAP. The difference is, the music is always going to be salacious. It's always going to push the envelope towards sexuality and drug use and violence. But how you respond as the parent makes all the difference. And what we decide is cool and not cool also will make the difference. That's why I like what Chris said about Scarface. Scarface is just as much of a problem for, I guess, young people, or what it does to mess up society, because all these drug dealers in New York saw Scarface in '84 was like, I'm trying to be the next dude with me.
I have a question. This goes for all men, including you.
And then I'm going to read this comment after that.
Somebody said that, you know, women get mad when men are referring to us as hoes and thoughts, but we are very free and liberated these days to dress how we want to dress. We want to be half naked, but we want men to respect us. So are we in a place in society where basically what women are asking for is, I want to be naked and I want for you to get used to seeing my boobs and my breasts, and I want you to respect me. Basically, we're asking for us to be respected like the days of Africa when we ran around without clothes. Is that possible that men can do it? Or
I don't think it's possible, and I can take that biblically, right?
Well, it's not possible?
I don't think it's possible. Then I'm going to read these comments. I don't think it's possible because, first of all, even if you look at Genesis, right? They were innocent before God, Adam and Eve, right? And then after they ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, then they look at themselves and realize, oh my God, we're naked, let's clothe ourselves. The thing is, we live in the information age.
Okay.
You can't unknowledge people. You can't send people back to innocence. So therefore, we'll never be in a place where someone can see someone half naked and not become aroused, not have a thought, not have a judgment, because we have too much information not to look at it that way. I just don't think it's possible. Let me read some comments. Chris says, we've been watching How to Get Away with Murder, and there's a lot of sex in that show. Good point. I wonder, do people have as much of an issue with sex in that show or others as they do with WAP? And that's interesting, because in movies, people sing, like I've known of super Christian folks that won't let their kids listen to Jay-Z, but will sit there and watch a Bruce Willis movie where he's killing all kind of people and he's talking about yippee-ki-yay, mother. All right? Same.
I think, to Christopher's point, I think the reason why people can watch How to Get Away with Murder and other movies is because those women are not as shapely. Black women tend to be...
Man, Viola Davis got a donkey dome. What you talking about?
No, not Viola Davis, those other women.
Oh, okay.
And so because of that, we naturally have more to look at. So naturally, I think black women are shunned and finger wagging that we need to cover up, but in reality, innately, it's hard for us to cover what God created, and that's buns.
Okay, that's good.
I feel like if you had two other women doing that same video, it wouldn't look the same.
Because it's not the same. You put Taylor Swift in there and someone else.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even look the same.
But they tried their best to be sexy. Look at Jesse Simpson.
But it ain't gonna be, because when they both busted split, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But Jessica Simpson,
and
Britney Spears,
her body.
They all do the same thing. So I think we pick and choose what's salacious and what's not. Let me read some more comments.
Because of how we look.
Let me read these comments real quick. So Herman says, that is why socially conscious music artists are not going to be as popular and get the support from the music industry. Not sexy enough, and we know sex sells. Good point. Herman agreed with the knowledge piece, or as far as like us having a knowledge of sexuality, so it's hard. Oh, what's up, Lena? How you doing?
Sister.
Yeah, Lana's sister. I've been messing them names all up. But Lena, what's good?
And Lana.
Yeah, I want to get it right one of these days. I promise you. But yeah, what's up? Happy to have you on the show. Then Elisa, good point here. She said she's agreeing with me, but she says I also believe we are responsible for our own behavior. I shouldn't walk around half naked, but that doesn't justify you disrespecting me. And that's a hard place to thread, right, Elisa? Because on one breath, a man shouldn't assault you because of the way you look, but then we have to be conscious about the attention we receive. And the fact that we know there's a proper way to dress to church and a proper way to dress to a job interview and a way that we dress at the club, we shouldn't argue the fact that we know what's proper and what's not. Brent is saying well stated. Christopher is also, I believe you can still respect a woman. With that said, how I'm introduced to you may be what I pay attention to later.
What does that mean?
So, I think I know what these means. Let me read this last comment. I'm going back to it. Mamie says, sin, you will make you think nothing is wrong. Sin, I got it. Sin as in sin. Sin will make you think nothing is wrong. And that's true from a biblical standpoint. I think what Chris is trying to say as another man, why I've never been one to disrespect women. Like back in the, in the tit drill days and all that stuff, we're going to the club dancing with women and stuff. I've never been one to slap a random girl's butt in the club and I went. You know what I'm saying? Because, just my mama taught me better than that. My father taught me better than that. That's just not how I move. I was always extra corny. Back then when you went to the club, you would see the girls twerking, and the idea for guys is you just walk up behind them and start dancing. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you always do that?
I don't know why.
I don't know who in the club goes and like, oh, he's cool. But I want to dance with him. If you did this to me in the club, I'm like, what?
I think I was a little swaggier than that back in college, but the idea is watch out. So
he always does.
But then, so the idea is you walk up as a guy behind the girl, she's twerking or whatever, and then she look back up at you, normally she'll decide that she want to keep on dancing. Me personally though, I'm corny. I would prefer to salsa dance or to hand dance. The reason why is because in those environments, it is customary to walk up to a woman facing her and say, hey, how you doing? Would you like to dance? Or you motion her if it's too loud, would you like to dance? Right? So automatically when you hold her hand or you extend your hand out to her, once she extends back, there's consent. Right? Versus in the club, where you just walking up on somebody's behind, right? And you twerking, and then she has to look back at you, and it's embarrassing when they look back and they're like, oh girl, no. Right? Or sometimes they're like, I don't want you. I've seen girls, and I think they have the right to do that. They're dancing, they're twerking. Dudes is like, I'm trying to jump up on that, but then I've seen some girls look back, and they don't let no guy dance with them.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I'm just with my girls having a good time. So it's kind of like, it's an interesting world we live in, because it used to be a time where all dancing involved, hey, would you like to come dance?
Well, I have heard girls make the argument all dudes want to do nowadays is have sex. They feel if I give them my time that they are affording my body. And so the question is that a man's issue that he feels he's entitled to sex, or do you think society has conditioned relationships these days to be, if a man spends his dollars or if a man gives any kind of attention, you need to be giving your body.
Yeah, good point.
I'm asking.
Lana said, "Let me live." All right, thank you, Lana. Yeah, let me live. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of that at the wedding. Lana said, "Hey y'all." Okay, I got you. Yeah, we see you, boo boo. We know you here. Casey in the building. We love the mechanics. Chris says, "If I meet you and you got it all out, next time I see you, my eyes may wander, just like for a woman. If you see a man in some guy's sweats at the grocery store, gray sweats at the grocery store, and then in a boardroom later, their eyes might wander too. Because the only thing you think about is the initial impression." I agree with you, Chris, right? Mamie says, "That's what you call a gentleman." Herman says, "Yes, big time hypocrisy. We want to censor our kids, but we're watching action movies where people are killing each other. That's good old entertainment for most Americans." Good point. And then Chris said, that look back is hella embarrassing. It is. I've been a victim of the look back, right? You're dancing with somebody and then their girls don't think you fly. And then they look back and be like, ah, and then they walk away. And then you got all your bros and all your homies looking at you, laughing at you like, ah, you just got played. It's an embarrassing situation, but it's one of those things where it's like the culture, even around the dancing, is over-sexualized. You're walking up a girl from behind. So therefore, you haven't looked at her face. She hasn't seen your face. The only value in that kind of dancing is somebody's butt. And then if they look around, if you look fly or whatever they're feeling from you, it's a very over-sexualized way of having fun and communicating. And I get it, it's fun, but then we got to understand, how does that translate to the rest of society if that's how we operate? You know?
Well, I did want to bring up one thing before we move on from WAP. In the song, they said, what did I say it again? They said,
Cardi B makes a comment, and I'm paraphrasing. She's like, "I didn't have to clean and cook, and I still got a ring."
So I can see that. Y'all know on social media when people post their little pictures on IG, they always use like rap lyrics. I can see women saying to themselves, "I don't need to cook and clean to get a ring." I mean, that shouldn't be a requirement to get a ring. But I do think that, I'm going to be honest, I think that where we're at in society, we have watered down marriage and the sanctity of it for so long. I think that marriage is not revered. Marriage is not something that is an honor, a privilege. Marriage is something that people just do just to say somebody wants me. But the moment things get tough, people throw it on the wayside. And I feel like getting a ring shouldn't just be the goal. The goal is not to get a ring. The goal is to be in a commitment to somebody. The goal is to want to work and build something with somebody. It's not about getting a ring. I mean, if Juan... This is the honest to God truth. I know y'all like, well, I'm surprised because I had to say that. If Juan proposed to me with a Jack in the Box ring and told me, "I'll get you a real ring later," I still would have said yes. That's how much I love him.
You know what, y'all? I will say this. I will say this, and I'm gonna get right back on. But to give her credit, right? So when I was planning so I pretended to look for rings with her after I'd already got the ring, right? And I remember that we're looking at rings. And she's like, "Oh my God, you know, rings cost this much money." And she was like, "Well, you know, I don't need a ring, or maybe we could get a family member to give us a ring because, you know, I want to like build a future, yada, yada, yada." And that made me feel much more about, you know, getting her a ring because she was so appreciative to have nothing. You get what I'm saying? And there's something to be said about that. And going to that comment about what context is everything, right? So when Cardi B says, "I didn't have to cook or clean and I still got a ring," keep in mind, she was proposed to by Offset from the Migos, a rap group. So when he meets her, he's meeting Cardi B already with money. Cardi B already a millionaire. She's already been on TV. So therefore, no, she didn't have to cook and clean because she didn't afford somebody to cook and clean for her. So keep in mind, young lady who only makes $40,000, $50,000 a year, maybe only $100,000 a year living in an expensive city, chances are that means you don't make enough money for someone to clean your house for you. So if you nasty, you just nasty. All right? And I think Cardi B doesn't realize what she's saying to society as a whole, but then again, it's not like I'm looking to society. I'm not looking to Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion for relationship advice, so it doesn't really bother me.
But that's what them young girls gonna be like, "Oh, if I go
Cardi
out here
said, yeah, I know.
and if I twerk and suck and do all this stuff, I'm gonna get a ring." And that may not be the case, sweetheart.
Or you might get the ring, but then you'll end up like,
"Nah, that may not be the case, sweetheart. You may be doing all that, and that boy's still gonna be like, nah."
No, what it is, some of them do get a ring, right? But then they're gonna trade you out for the newer version later, because she's gonna do it.
Or he may give the ring and he realized, dang, this is all I got.
Yeah, this is all you got to offer. Yeah. Let me read some comments. So Chris said, we're all animals. That's a very animalistic reaction. That's true.
That's why they use animals.
Lana made a good point. And you're right, because I seen some of the comments. Pick Me Twitter, Laugh Out Loud was hot about the comments from Cardi B. Herman said, hey, Katrina, I believe that has always been the case in the clubs. Men going with the expectation of when you are dancing with a girl, that sex is the goal at the end of the night. And that's just that old...
Come on, Hammer.
Hey, be honest.
No, that's the real goal.
That's right. Mammy said, that's right, Katrina. Don't just get the ring. Herman thought that was sweet. And then Lana says, the cheaper the ring, the longer the marriage. Advice from an 80-year-old lady.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? There might be some truth to that. I should have spent less. No, I'm just messing around. We did good. Everyone's saying you're so sweet. We get a lot of... Brent said, Cats, that's right for you. Cats, just the right woman for you, bro. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Getting a lot of love and sappy comments. I'll take it. Lana said, I think the cook clean line was more about I don't have to prove it by only cooking and cleaning, but it's more than that. Yeah, that's fine. It's a possibility. I just know she had money already. Lana says, listen, somebody's granny had 13 kids and didn't cook or clean.
That's possible.
That's
all I'm saying is all I'm saying is there should be prerequisite for a ring should be individually based and not based on.
I can't get with you though.
And not based on, you know, I don't know, just goofiness. You know, he got to have a certain length, and she got to be a tight waist, and she got to know how to pop it back. I mean, marriage is much bigger than that. Like, marriage really is joining two people together, and you guys are thinking, okay, we're coming together, we're building a legacy, but we're also thinking about that legacy for our kids. Meaning, when we have DaCostas, they're going to carry the DaCosta name in this area, and we're going to leave them with something that they can build off of. Lord willing, when my kids go to college, they won't be in school in student loan debt. So that means that they'll be one step ahead of me as far as building economic wealth and generational wealth than I was in, hopefully. So, I mean, I don't know. A marriage to me is just not that of our parents. I feel like our parents
generation
put in the work. When times get rough, I didn't see my mom and dad saying, I'm divorcing you. I never even saw my mama leave the house to say, I'm gone. My mom and dad the next day would be like, good morning. We would be like, okay. And they got over it, so
yeah,
they good.
Yeah, and I see my parents do the same thing. I mean, they still together 34 years. And Chris made a funny comment. He said, yep, Lana has a piece of yarn. We should be together for eternity. That's funny.
That's so funny.
I think y'all gonna be together for a long time. You know, we definitely keep y'all up in prayer, and I think y'all have a beautiful relationship. So I know y'all gonna be around for
Come on, Lana, that's right. Lana says, limiting a woman's role in marriage only to cook and clean is not giving marriage its due. You right about that, sis.
Yeah, I agree with
a lot of different things.
Yeah, I don't think that we limit a woman's role to just taking care of children, you know, being barefoot and pregnant, cooking and cleaning. I wouldn't say that. But I will say, don't think that a man, because like I seen these girls on IG, they be posting these pictures in a dirty room, and it's like if you're sleeping on an air mattress and I see dirt and stuff all around the room, I'm sorry, don't nobody look that good that you can take a picture in a dirty room and I don't think that's attractive.
So we need to put context here. Juan reminds me so much of my father. This is the kind of man that washes dishes. This is the kind of man that sweeps. He's very, very meticulous. He don't wear the same clothes every year. Like, he'll look at his clothes and be like, oh, I've worn it too many times. It's time to throw it away. You're talking to somebody who's like a military person when it comes to cleanliness. So his standard of cleanliness is high. But the great thing is that he can meet his standard. So it's a good thing. It's not like he's expecting something that he can't provide. Beverly said because she had 13 kids, she better not have to cook and clean. I know that's right. At 13 kids, you better have kids.
Yeah, y'all better be working together.
That's what I'm saying. There'd be a chore for every kid. You should have your whole house pick and span every single day.
Yeah, that's that. You got 2 kids for every room possibly. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
at that point,
it better get done. So let's before we close out, I got a bunch of shout outs, so let's knock them out. I might as well go ahead and knock out the first one. I've been saying it the whole time. But I want to say happy anniversary to Herman and Denise Altar. 34 years. Some of the people in this live right now are not even 34 years old.
I'm not 34 yet.
I'm just saying. So
I'm
like,
not even 34 yet.
So 34 years, and that young lady that just threw her life away, possibly 34 years old. So that's how long my parents.
That means your parents got married before Katrina was even born.
Yeah. So shout out to Herman and Denise Altar, their anniversary, and it's today, so August 9th.
They got married 85.
No, it was 86.
86. Okay.
Yeah, 86. Yeah, 34 years. Yep, they got married in 86. See, I know my Altar
I'm 32.
history.
I was just trying to do math, and, months play part.
You gotta think your birthday hasn't hit yet. So, yeah, so, and they're getting a lot of woohoos and happy anniversaries. Like, yeah. So, like, for me, I don't have to look at Cardi B and Offset and look at marriage goals. I just look at my parents. Or I could look at your parents. Mike and Jen married for 40 plus years.
Make our own goals, okay?
Yeah, make our own goals.
Why can't we be goals?
Yeah, exactly. So,
we in the year in. We can look at the McKinneys for a goal, okay?
Yeah, look at the McKinneys.
Lana and Chris, you a goal for me, okay?
Yeah. Let me see. Elisa said, the first time my husband came to my place, he asked me to use my restroom. He later told me that was his inspection.
That's funny.
I know a lot of people that do that.
Wow. Really,
Yeah.
Elisa? That's funny.
I'm one of those people, like, you keep your bathroom clean because people, when they come over, they look in your tub to see if you how you.
Did you look at my bathroom?
I think I did, but your house was neat. It was just, you was just like in an older apartment.
I was in the hood.
You know what I'm saying? But
I lived in the
it's not
hood.
like it didn't look like you made your house look nasty.
I was embarrassed because I'm like, look, I literally was like, I live in the hood, but the thing is, you can say I took care of myself.
Yeah, you took care of what you had.
At that time when he met me, Cat wasn't on the come up. Cat was broke.
Yeah, you take care of what you had. So
then I moved to a new place that was nicer.
Mm-hmm.
And my place was nice.
Yeah.
Now for others who live with me, that wasn't the case.
And we got a lot of happy anniversaries coming from the audience, so that's really dope.
Yeah, make those goals.
Yeah. So then I got some more shout outs. I want to shout out happy birthday to Mike Darboz. Happy birthday to Shanae Thompson. Happy birthday to your line sister, Teresa Barber.
Happy birthday, Teresa.
Shout out to Alexis Gassis Heaston. She's also AKA dope. Shout out to Desmond McCall. Shout out to Alyssa Muller. And then also got to say happy birthday again to my homie, Jerome Scott. He just turned 40, August 3rd. Looks good too, man. I was telling him the other day, like, man, Jerome, you look good for 40, bro.
Looks great.
40 years old.
And his wife.
He still look like he's 20.
They both look good.
Yeah, and then she looks great. 46. She don't mind us saying her age, but she looks great.
She looks great.
Like both of them look like little kids. So you know what? But they got God in their lives. They're both ministers at their church. Hey, God will keep you looking young. So for those that need some faith,
trying to get it together.
You might want to get some. I see it working for the people that I know. So yeah, once again, thank you guys for everyone for watching. So since WAP came out, and I get it, hey, people listen to what you want to listen to, but I wanted to celebrate another sister that's actually talking a lot about that stuff. Oh, Jennifer Hawkins said happy anniversary to the others and many blessings.
No, Mom, the Utars.
Oh, to the Altars. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Happy anniversary to the Altars and many blessings. Love, Mike and Jenny Haskins.
She just didn't. Oh, well, she didn't say Hawkins.
No, I got it.
It's my mama. She made a little typo.
That's no, it's cool. It's cool.
Mama Jean, I love you. I feel like I look like Mama Jean with my glasses on. I feel like every time people say you look like your mama, it's because I got glasses on. So
I decided to celebrate this queen. She had an amazing album, one of the best albums ever done. I remember buying this album in 1998, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. The song is Doo Wop, or sometimes referred to as That Thing. Came out in 1998, and we're gonna let this ride.
Everybody, if you know the song, at home, sing along.
The first verse is like amazing. I gotta let the first verse play. You know what I'm saying?
It's been 3 weeks since you've
Been looking for your friend,
the one that never hit you,
never called you again.
Remember when he told you he was
About the Benjamins?
You act like him again, and you think believe this man just a bit. How you think you really gonna pretend
Like he wasn't down and called him again. Plus when you giving up so easy, you ain't even fooling him.
If you did it then
Then you probably do it again.
Showing off and yeah,
More Christian,
I'm listless,
sleeping with a gin. Now that was a sin that did Jezebel. And
who you gonna tell
when the people cuss you spit,
showing off it
like you thinking it's a trend, girlfriend. Let's